Hello everyone and welcome back to my Tech vs. Magic series. Today we're going to continue working on the automated Crucible system. But first, if you remember last episode, I mentioned I fixed the chicken farm. Unfortunately, I did not include any sort of off switch or automatic shut off. So now there are about 1,300 chickens trapped in that little area and it is lagging the crap out of me. So it's time to take some drastic measures. Drastic fire wand measures. Oh, the lag. Can't get through. So laggy. Okay. Can we reach any from there? Not sure. Let's try ender prowling. Oh crap, that's a lot of eggs. Oops. Burn! Wow, that is a lot of fire. Holy crap! Oh, I don't know what that noise is. I guess that's the chicken sounds that are just overloading. How many entities are there on screen? Over 800 out of 2,000? I can't see. Let me pause the recording. Okay, that worked. We have much better frame rate now. And a whole crap ton of chicken and stuff, which I'm going to pick up and store, and then we'll get back to what we're going to do today. I've shut this off for the time being, and I think I may have killed my golem, which kind of sucks. But there wasn't much choice. I will be back in a little bit. And we're back. You can see I finished these little shoots here. I kind of like the looks of them. They don't mess up with the appearance of the area too much. We're going to finish setting those up now. Oh look, computer stuff. You know the episode's going to be good when there's computer stuff. So this one's going to be magenta. This one's going to be light blue. Then white and orange. And this is just going to come through here, and we'll connect that after we get the frame motor set up. Which I guess we can go ahead and do now. Okay, we have these. How do we want to set them up? Let's see. We want to make sure that you, if we can get you right, can we get you right? Okay, there we go. That you are facing that way like you are. That way it won't be able to push itself off the frame motors. It'll always only be able to push it as far as this one goes. This may actually need to be moved down one. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. And you need to go the other way. You're going that way, you're going that way. Not too difficult. May just end up moving the chest. We'll have to wait and see about that. So that's going to push this way. The other one will push that way. And I can just put some wires right under these. And I should still be able to get the tube connection. If I come around the side here. Let's give it a bit of a wide berth. First, let's get those wires hooked up. Just going to use white for one of them and black for the other. So you can come around here. And you'll come around there. I don't think I have any black dye on me right now. So I'll put that in. Guess we'll go ahead and do that. Let me be right back. Okay, I decided to go with my convention and just use the next color of wire. So we're going with orange. And you just going to go up like that. And the power will probably be right here and right here. And then maybe another bat box right there. And the thermopile here. But we'll get to the power part later. First, we're going to talk about the computers. This was a bit of a pain to set up because I'm using multiple I/O expanders. And there's a bug in the current version of Red Power 2 where you can't change the IDs. If you remember in the 1.4.6 Minecraft, they changed it so that when you shift or crouch right click on something, it doesn't open the GUI. However, to change the IDs, you need to shift right click with a screwdriver to access that GUI. So in that fight, Minecraft code wins out and it doesn't open anything. So I had to decompile Minecraft and change that feature back to how it was in earlier versions of Minecraft so that I can shift right click this and it gets me the screen. But this is 3, then 4, 5, and 6. You can see they're hooked up via this ribbon cable all to the CPU tower there, CPU block. And let's see, so green is the levers above, that's ID 3. This is white, which is the buttons, that's ID 4. The position is brown, which is ID 5. And the frame motors are uncolored, and ID 6. If you haven't seen the tutorial I did on the red power control, which was the 4th part of the tunnel boring tutorial, I'll put a link in the description, or I'm probably going to forget to put a link in the description, so someone remind me, then I'll put a link in the description. And that explains some of the basics for red power control. You may need to refresh your memory because it's kind of been a while. I know I did. But let's see what we have here. I went ahead and started creating the utilities disk that I used in the tunnel boring machine with a few additions. So to access the first block of the disk, type 1 in list. And here I've created constants for the different colors that correlate with the return results from the I/O expander. If you recall, the I/O expander returns the metadata, or 2 raised to the metadata color. So for white it returns to the 0 or 1. For orange it returns to the 1, that's the number after the colon there. So 2 to the 1 is 2, 2 to the 2 is 4, 2 to the 3 is 8, 16, 32, etc., 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 all the way down to 2 to the 15th. And that's what all of these are. Then the next, here it goes on to the next block, where the last color black is defined. Then we have a couple of functions that are taken from the Red Power 2 wiki. Pulse, which just sends a short pulse over the I/O expander to whichever wires you have set. So whatever numbers here is the bits argument, and the delay is how long you want the pulse to be. If you recall from my previous tutorial, the notation for this is what's going to be on the stack before the command runs, then the command runs, and this is what is going to be on the stack after the command runs. So, so like I said, this just pulses for that delay. Then we have base 2 log, which just gives you base 2 log of whatever numbers on the stack. Pretty simple. Then a new command, which is wait for signal. And what's going to be on the stack is the delay, how long you want this to repeat. And here we have what's called an indefinite loop. The loops I used previously are loops that we knew how many times they were going to run, but this is one that's going to run continuously until it receives a true signal, or until a condition is true. So first thing that's going to happen, we're going to dupe the delay, that means copy it. Then we're going to use one of those up in the wait command, so we're going to wait the delay number of ticks while there's going to be a second delay still on the stack. Then we're going to read from the I/O expander. Then if that is not 0, we're going to duplicate that. And then the until command is going to check to see if that's true or false. Basically, it's going to check and see if it's not 0. If it's not 0, it will stop the loop. If it is 0, it will go back to the beginning and start all over again. If it is not 0, it exits the loop, and then the swap command, which swaps the top 2 values on the stack with each other. So at this point, the top 2 values on the stack are going to be the return result from I/O expander and the delay, and that order. So it's going to push the I/O expander result down to the second, and then move the delay up to the top, and then it's going to take the delay portion and drop it. Just get rid of it so that it's no longer there, and all you have on the stack is going to be the active wires command. The active wires, that is what's going to be returned by OOX at, or fetch, however you want to pronounce it. Then there's the clean disk command, which we did in the previous tutorial. It just wipes a disk, basically. So from 55 to 1, this is a definite loop. Counts from 1 to 55. Do I is the iterator. So whatever iteration loop this is on, I then load that block, wipe that block, save the changes in the loop, and then in the command. Then on to the next block. And all this is absolute value. Pretty sure you know how that is. Takes the absolute value of N1. Absolute copies it, checks to see if it's less than 0. If it is, changes the sign in the if statement in this word. Fairly simple. So to load all this up into the memory, right now it's just the standard stuff. I'm using the extended 4th disk just because. I'm not using the actual extended part, but I'm using it anyway. So to load all this stuff into the memory, all we need to do is type 1 load, and that's going to load all these commands up, and it's going to take a couple minutes, so I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, the words have been loaded. I'm going to There were a couple of typos, so I'm going to display those again. If you want to try to copy them, just pause the video and you can copy them that way. So the first block. And the second block. And the third block. There you go. So that's there with all the typos removed so that you can duplicate this if you want to. Okay, so let me show you how the wait for signal thing works. I have it set to be using this IO expander hooked up to the green wire, and you can see that the magenta wire is on. That's the one hooked up to the levers. So we're just going to do 10. And then we will print out the result with the period. So it's going to wait 10 ticks every loop and then check for a signal. And there it outprinted the ID of the signal, magenta to the 2, so 4. And that's how that works. Yeah, I guess we'll cover this. Going to be using this in the program. For those of you who don't remember your high school math, if 2 to the n equals x, log base 2 of x equals n. So that's how we can get the n value, which we're going to need here. And we're going to be using a lot of indefinite loops. I want to warn you that these can get out of hand if you make a mistake, so be pretty careful when using them. You could accidentally create an infinite loop, and that would kind of mess things up. But we are done with this disk, our utilities disk, and we can go ahead and get our actual disk that we're going to be using for this. So disk name, we're going to call this Crucible Automation. And I think if we do it this way, it'll work. Actually, probably that way. Let's see if that worked. Yeah. No extra spaces. Wasn't sure if you needed a space there or not. Now then, we're going to clean this disk. It's just going to take a while. And let me explain to you the logic of this while that's running. So we're going to be polling or using the wait for signal on the white wire to check for when a button is pressed. Button lasts 1 second, so we're going to wait 3/4 of a second between each of the wait for signal. That's 15 ticks. And when a signal is received here, we're going to check here to see what position this is in. And then we're going to convert both of those using this log base 2 to an actual number. And then we're going to compare the two numbers that the log base 2 returns to get the difference between what button we pressed and where this position is. And then, using that difference and the sign, whether it's positive or negative, we're going to determine which way we want this to move and how far we want it to move. The logic like that is fairly simple. There's also one more feature that's been added in pre-release 6 of Red Power. You can now define words on disks that take up more than one line, so that's going to make things much more easier for us. I think we can probably do this all in just one simple word and be done with it. I'm also going to make this a bit verbose. That means the program's going to tell you what it's doing. So I'm going to do a little bit of typing and I will be back in a moment. Okay, I am back and I have it all inside of one word, so let me show you what I've done. All inside of one block even. So as you may or may not remember, the slash is for comments, stuff that does not count as code, just notes for yourself. So this is the main loop for the program. It's basically the main program. We're defining the word Crucible _ automation. We are beginning an indefinite loop, and this dot quotation mark is how you write something to the screen. So the stuff between these two quotation marks will be written to the screen. So we're writing the setting IOX address to 4, then carriage return. That's what CR means. And there's what we're doing right there. Then we're waiting for a signal, another carriage return. We're telling ourselves we're waiting for a signal. And here is where we actually wait for a signal. We're waiting for a signal, 1.5 seconds, which is 15 ticks, using the wait for signal command that we defined in the utilities disk. Then when we get a signal, we clear the screen. That's what page does. Duplicate the return value from wait for signal. Tell ourselves we received the signal and print out one of the values we duplicated. So we're printing out what signal we received. Then another carriage return, setting the IOX address to 5. The 4 is white, which is the button cable. 5 is this, which is the position cable. So setting IOX address to 5. First, we're taking the return value from wait for signal, doing the log base 2 of that to get the actual number. Then setting the IOX address to 5, reading that, so we're reading what value is, which one of these wires are activated. Then we're doing another log base 2 to get that to get the in here. Then here we're subtracting those two numbers. And we're printing out what the offset is using the duplicate, print out one of those character return. So that's going to tell us, we're telling ourselves what the offset is, mostly for debugging purposes. Then we're taking the offset, we're duplicating it. If it's less than 0, if it's negative, we're going to write white or push white, the number stored in white on the stack. Otherwise, we're going to push orange on the stack. Then we're going to swap that, take the absolute value, which means we're swapping the so right here at the end of this statement, what is on the stack is the wire color is on top, and then the offset is at the second one. So we're moving the offset to the top, taking the absolute value of that to make sure it's positive. Then we're moving the frames. To do that, we're switching to this IO expander. And then we're going to, so now the top value on the stack is the absolute value of the offset. That's going to be used for the first argument in our do loop. So that's how many times we're going to run the loop. And this is a question mark do loop. You must use question mark do because if you had the offset of 0, these two would be equal and it would run like 63,000 and something times and you don't want to do that. So you must have the question mark do and not a regular do. Then we're duplicating the wire color, pulsing that for a delay of 5 ticks. That's what that 5 is. Then we're waiting 15 ticks. So combined, we're going to have this run every 1 second between frame movements. And that's all in a loop. So that's the end of that do loop there. Then we're dropping the extra value from the dupe here off the stack. Then the last thing, we're going to activate the sorters. So that, then we're setting the IOX address to 3. That's going to switch to this IO expander, which is hooked up to the green. And it's going to send a 5 tick pulse on the black wire. It's going to come through here and pulse through all of these, with the other signal being the lever we have pulled. That's going to control how many times the signal gets activated. And the very last line here, key question mark, means has the user pressed the key, and until it's the end of the main loop that we started way up here. Semicolon's the end of the word, and that's just a comment to tell us the end of the loop. This key question mark allows us to exit this loop. It's really the only way we can exit because we don't have any kind of condition check to allow us to exit. So when we press a key and it reaches this point, it will stop the loop. But that means it needs to run through once before we can get to that part. And I think that's going to be all in that. Let's actually run this so I can show it off. I've already loaded this by typing one load. It took a little bit of time, but it has been loaded. You can see it right here. Okay, so it's setting the IOX address to 4, then it's waiting for a signal. So let's go up here and press something. These buttons are in order: white, orange, magenta, light blue, etc., all the way to black. So this is going to be white. We press the button. It's going to move this. It says receive the signal 1, that's white, what color white is, or the number associated with white. Setting the IOX address to 5, offset is -15, so it's moving back 15 spaces. Moving the frames, activating the sorters, and setting and back to the beginning of the loop. So it moved us all the way back to this one, which is white. See down there, the white signal is activated. I've been right here just pre-charging these bat boxes up, since we're going to use a thermopile for this. That way we can already have these up and running when we want this to be used. So let's actually try making something. First, let's go ahead and do the thermopile so we can get this stuff out of our inventory. So first lava, then a block there. Thermopile. We will break this. Break that. Just going to use covers here so that we don't block our skylight. Water goes here. Water goes here. Water goes here. And finally water goes here. Then we'll have bat box on top here, and another bat box here. And these will be powering both the frame motors and the sorters, and that should be enough energy stored to last quite a while because this isn't using very much. So let's go back up here. I've made some item frames, as you can see, and put some of these. Put some signs here. Actually, we'll do that later. I want to set up one of these just to make sure that this works. First thing I want to make is something we use a lot of, which is knitter. Let's see, what am I going to use to make that? Grab this. Oops, I need to do that. Okay, that's the wrong thing. Knitter. Over here. So we need 4 fire, 6 candles, and 4 energy. And how much does it take to make that? Oh, we have some stuff from Thaumcraft bees. That's interesting. I did not notice that. That must be in the recent patch. I have to look into that. This takes 5 fists. That means we can make 25 of them. Is that right? Yeah, 25 of them. Well, more than 25. 30 of them? Can I add today? 50 of them. 50 of them is what I meant. But we probably won't be making that many, I don't think. Well, I guess we could. Actually, I don't think the Crucible can hold that much. We'll test it with a smaller amount. Let's just test it with like 1. That should do. So 5 fire, 6 candles, and 4 energy. 4 fire, 4 energy. Probably be using netherrack for that. Candles for the fire, or for the flame, light, whatever that is. And what was the other one? Energy, cocoa beans for that. Let's grab a whole bunch of these. And these are 2 each, okay. So let's see, we want 2, 2, 2, 6 candles. Got to fill that one. And 4 netherrack in each. Okay. So that should make us various amounts of knitter. One at a time. So first we're just going to dump all this stuff in here and see if this works like I expect it to. First we have the 1 switched on. Going to make 1 knitter. Make sure everything down here works. There that goes. Hopefully I have the right thing set. Looks like it just pulled out the flame. I want it to pull out the whole column. So how do we do that? This one maybe? Everything worked well there. Let's actually make sure that went into the Crucible as well. So yeah, just the netherrack went in. So what is this? this looks like it pulled everything out. That should go here, I think. So everything to make a piece of knitwear. And I don't have a wand on me. So we'll put that here. Need to get some golems set up there too. Have some water on me. That's one thing. And apparently we can make, let's see, 16 fits in there before this overflows. Only 2 at a time? No, 3 at a time. Well, 2 at a time if we don't want to lose anything. That's not very many. That'd be why we want to make 4 of them at a time. Another thing we would want to make is thaumium, which is a piece of iron and a piece of iron and a nether or a ender pearl. Not difficult. So just grab some iron. What am I looking for? One of these. Put in our thing. There we go. Get a few more ender pearls. Save some down here. It's going to be the orange one, so it's going to be the next one over. Make sure we have this set properly. And how much does that take? Probably 5. Yes. And how much waste do we have? 4, so we can only make 4 of these at a time without wasting anything. And I don't have enough ender pearls. 4, 4. Yeah, I can't reach that chest from down here. I wish this was kind of like the other things, the Buildcraft pipes, where you just had to click on it and it didn't actually use the item. This is getting kind of expensive. I wish there was a way I could reset these to their starting column, but I don't think there is. Anyway, so let's see, we're going to make let's just dump this. That's going to get wasted though. I need to throw some more netherrack in there, 4 more, just so that I can clear out those. There we go. Okay, still has a little bit of that. Go on. And this needs a little bit more too. But we won't worry about it there. Okay, so we're going to make 4 of these. Oops. Don't know what would happen if we actually had more than 1 press. Probably it just did the highest. Yeah, that's probably what it'll do. So 4. Oh yeah, the last one didn't have enough ender pearls. So is that the right thing? Actually, I'm going to exit this on the next one. I heard something go melty. So that's enough for 4. They all go down the same color? I hope not. We may have to try that again. No, that's 4 worth. Maybe it didn't have enough stuff. Let's check. It only pulsed once, so maybe the delay is too short. Increment 4. Yeah, that's on. That's accurate. That's right, so we'll move this to a different color and check that. Let's move it. Still on. Move it here. Look like 4. So this just must be going too fast. So let's make it every 1 point something seconds. Let's try this again. Wait, we need more ender pearls first. Fix this one down here too. Oh, it is fixed. I don't recall doing that. Okay. Whatever. Ouch. Okay, let's try this again. It's set to 4. We pushed. Should move. Should pulse. Stuff should be coming out. It did not move. Offset is 1. Okay, it did. It's the right one. Never mind. It moved. So did they go in and I just not hear it? I don't see any. No liquid in that one. So what happened with that? For one, that's the wrong. Should be this one. Right, it didn't move right. Yeah, it's on pink. Are these not having enough power? Received the right signal. Has the right offset. Must be a delay issue. Let me try this again off camera. Well, I'm an idiot. I forgot we stopped the program. I did that because, is this the right one? Yeah, the blank one. I want to save, what is it called? This name, I think it's just called save. Where are you? Save, yeah. So save. And that should allow me to restore this if anything ever happens to it. And also boot from this disk, I think. Now then, let's start our word back again. And actually see if this works. Still set. Can actually see if it moved. Should be getting something out here soon. I should probably put some liquid in that one crucible. There's one. Who did it? Okay. There. 4 of them. Excellent. Just what I wanted. So, thaumium. And this needs to recharge, so let's get our better wand. I hear a spider. There should not be any spiders here. So here. And here. And then we have this extra stuff just hanging out there. Oh, and here too. Some of the extra stuff didn't have room to go. Okay. So that's working. Extra candles for some reason. So now all I need to do is decide what I want to put here. I'm thinking all the stuff that you craft by the Crucible, which isn't very much. It's that, just transmutations. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. There's this and gunpowder. That's 8, 9, 10. This, which we really probably don't need a recipe for that. I think that might be it. The other stuff we can have things that we just want the aspects of, like movement, since that's kind of annoying to do manually because boats don't stack. And eventually we may want to put a sort manager on this so that it keeps it stocked with whatever a certain amount of items, enough to make 4 of anything that we have up here. We probably will want to do that at some point. And if we want to, we can leave that off and just move this around to set everything up properly. Have to go through and change all these and everything. But that is our pseudo-automated Crucible system. This will be sitting down here running forever and ever. And there's not going to be a download until after I get some kind of transportation system set up between here and the technical city. But you should be able to pause the recording and just type the stuff in. I think we'll probably have the transportation system up in the next half dozen or so episodes, I hope. And then I'll do a world download so that you can look at this in your own time. But like if you like, subscribe if you're not. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.